Hello, I'm Catherine King, and I'm here today with Jane and Katie. I'm looking deeper into the detective lives of Gothic characters and how that motivates, hinders, and compels them. First, welcome Jane. Thank you, Catherine. I come today from the Rochester estate of Ferndon. And welcome Katie. Thanks. I'm just visiting home. I spent a year in England. It was wonderful. Thanks for asking. Moving on. Our questions today are provided by Sandro Jung. Jane, it is said that Mr. Rochester encouraged your curiosity. How did this impact you? Edward is lovely. He is home with Adele and our newborn son. At first, I'll admit, he wanted to know everything about me, so I felt comfortable about breaking down the barriers and allowing my curiosity to roam. And Katie, what would you say was the biggest reason that you continued through an unfamiliar home to find the journal entries of your sister? Well, obviously, my sister and I are very close, so I know where she hides things, and so it was a lot easier to find anything she would have written. But I did find, heaps of rubbish, I can't believe my father moved all of those books he wrote. Plus, in Europe, I learned all sorts of empowered women. Let me stop you there. Unfortunately, our time today is limited. But I will ask, you mentioned an unfamiliar house. Did this disturb you at all? Well, apparently it's haunted or something. The locals call it the psycho house. I mean, it's remote and old, so the floor creaks. To be honest, I wish it had been a bright sunny day, and even then, I probably would have had goosebumps. And Jane, you lived in many remote and mysterious houses. Are these more likely to pique your interest than big cities per se? The relative silence that a remote life gives often allows for one to hear their own thoughts more loudly. I, however, heard laughing and murmurs on the third floor. Once I was sure, it came directly above me when I was sleeping. Wow, that would pique my interest. Now, Katie, not having auditory clues as such, what was your experience looking for and finding these journal entries from your sister Sam? It was really frustrating at first because I knew that there was something that my sister wanted to tell me, but I couldn't get into the attic right away, which I knew was her favorite spot. So I sort of had to find a few clues to get me to the attic. But there was a serious thunderstorm out there. Did anyone else hear that thunder? It was legit creepy. Well, sorry. As a Gothic representative, I have to say that the house was a hauntingly curious masterpiece that gave tone and gravitas to any search. Why, thank you, Katie. Now, I think we will turn our attention to the greater society and how, as Gothic women, you either had to fit in or decide to defy the rules set in each of your situations, different but similar. Oh yes, I can definitely speak to this. Being the ward of Mrs. Reed, the punishment by Brockhurst. I was a lower class citizen. Being a woman and being poor meant that I had a much harder time gaining respect. And it was only at Thornfield, where Edward, I called him Mr. Rochester, then because he was indeed my employer. It took me so long to believe that he could love me because I had no status or wealth. But eventually, of course, we did settle down together. But from a young age, I decided that I was not going to partake in society's rules and regulations, not at home, not at school, not at work, and not with my family. I now am much more happy with my life and my status in society. Great! It is always important to challenge the systems put in place. Same question to you, Katie? Well, that's an interesting question. And as an experienced European traveler, I'm Katie. I think I'll answer this one. Oh my God, Sam! Welcome! Everyone, this is my sister, Sam. Hello? Hello. Thanks. I hate society's expectations on how we've been conditioned to generalize sexuality, not take anything away from Jane's fight in her era. But even in my day, they believe that if you do not conform to society's norm, you can't serve in the military. I thought that following the rules for the military would be okay, even though I was fighting for my own rights, but I realized that they're one and the same. I can't pretend to be part of one society and rebel against the other. You have to be who you are, and that's just how it is. You know, Lonnie and I, we've moved on. We are joining protests and still driving around. We haven't found that spot that's perfect for us yet, but we will. We know it's out there. And one day, people are gonna change their minds and they're gonna understand that maybe one day, even our parents might say something, but I just want you to know, Katie, that I had to do what I had to do, and I didn't mean to leave without saying goodbye, but I really wanted you to know that I loved you, and I hope that those journals were enough. I totally understand. I am glad that you're here now. Beautiful. Now, back to you, Jane. I understand that it is said that the time in your childhood in the Red Room changed your life forever, and that Bertha was in fact a metaphor for your unconscious rage, as well as the oppression of women who express their desires without being called crazy. Do you have a response to that? Will not abide this. You have set me up, sitting me across from this scantily clad girl in this red scarf. I will not play the fool to your theatrics. Right. And Jane Eyre runs away once again. Maybe she's gone home.